Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the Dividend Compounder Show. My name is Amos, and today we're going to be looking at the numbers behind this YouTube channel. Which means instead of analyzing and evaluating a company's stock, we're going to apply that same methodology to this YouTube channel after 1 year. So the numbers and data that we're going to be looking at are going to be from the timeline of January 1st of 2024 all the way up until today of December 26, 2024. So roughly a year. And since the birth of this YouTube channel, I uploaded 143 videos. Yes, over the span of about 14 and a half months, 143 videos. Pretty wild to think about. And of the 143 videos, I had to work every single day because if you do the math and you break it down, if I wasn't filming or editing, I was basically researching or working on another video. So I had to get creative on doing the voiceovers whenever I was sick. One time I did have to rely on an AI program, and then the other time I asked my wife to do it, and she made the nipple jokes on my behalf. And what makes 143 videos sound even more bizarre is the fact that at one point this year, I was running 5 different YouTube channels in 5 different categories. They were not related to one or the other. And then one day in the summer, I realized that was absolutely stupid and unsustainable for one person to conduct. So I went from 5 channels down to only 2. And very recently, I decided to make this channel that you're watching right now my main channel, and my other channel is now the secondary one, the side piece, the one that I look at whenever I feel like creative burnout. I'll go on that channel and make a video for that one. So when I think about the goals that I set for myself in 2024 for the Dividend Compounders with Cheese community, number 1 was to accumulate 10,000 subscribers. Well, between you and me, we fell short, okay? And I know we still have like 4 or 5 days left until the end of the year, but I don't think we're gonna reach that mark. So one of the 3 we did not meet. However, the other 2, I'm happy to say, we hit. Number 2 was to build a community of like-minded folks, and number 3 was to turn this into the main channel, which I just explained we did. And to elaborate on goal number 2, you can call me vanilla, you can call me bald, you can call me whatever you want. But I knew there had to be more people like me out there. People who like to analyze and look into companies to see if it's worth investing into or not. And I consider investing as a hobby. So I think if you're watching this video right now, you most likely resonate with what I just said, and you most likely spend some free time researching stocks and buying dividend compounders, which is why I ended up making this channel in the first place. All right, now that we got that out of the way, what are the overview numbers for this channel? This is year-over-year metrics. For the views, in the span of about 365 days, this channel accumulated 285,000 views. I know, for some other channels, a single upload will get 285,000 views easily in half a day. But for me, spread across over 100 videos, resulted in 285,000 views. Year over year, that is up by 999%. Insane. I know that's a crazy number, triple-digit growth. If I were to see that in a company's revenue, free cash flow, or dividend payout growth to grow by 999%, my nipples would be jacked to the tits. Number 2 would be watch time hours, how much time people spent digesting and consuming the content, and that was 29,000 hours, which is also up year over year by 999%. And then for subscribers, it was up by 816%. We gained 4,300 subscribers in the year of 2024. And listen, I'm really hard on myself, and I put pressure on to succeed in whatever I pursue. Whether it was athletics in my younger days, or in academics, or in my career in the corporate room, or even in the military field, I always push myself to be the best that I could be, that effort. So why would YouTube be any different? I'm the kind of guy that used to be upset with getting a 97% on an exam, whereas like the class average would have been like an 81 or 82. Reason being is that I didn't get 100%, just so you understand where I'm coming from. Likewise, after going full speed for an entire year on this YouTube channel and to not reach that subscriber goal that I just talked about of 10,000, it was pretty devastating. Once I understood like 2024 is almost over and we're well short of that goal, dude, I beat myself up mentally. But that's when I gotta slow it down, because as I am saying these numbers to you out loud, it's hitting me. Because when I slow it down for a second, take off my man bra, and let the boys breathe, like in any business setting, if I saw a company with these numbers, I would be absolutely bullish on their potential. Would you not want to invest into a company who's growing by over triple digits year over year? So when I look at it that way, then it paints it into perspective. As long as I stop comparing myself to other YouTube channels or other creators to see what our tiny little community on the internet accomplished in the span of one fiscal year, this is pretty good stuff. So I shouldn't be beating myself up, but instead I should be more proud of what we accomplished in the past year. That's the mindset that I'm trying to adopt. And continuing on the theme of the overview numbers, 3.5 million people saw a thumbnail or a suggested video of this channel on YouTube in this year. 3.5 million people. That's absolutely insane. And of that 3.5 million impressions, whether you searched for a video or YouTube recommended this video next, or one of the Dividend Compounder videos showing up in the suggested related content, 5.9% of people decided to click and to watch a video from this channel. In other words, for every 100 people that stumbled upon a video of this channel, 6 people would have chosen to watch and consume that content. Case in point, my most recent upload was a video recommending stocks that are $20 or less. And in that video, we go over 7 stocks that are actually $20 or less. And as you can see right here, impressions, click-through rate, 5.4%, and there's a green check mark, meaning that it's pretty much in line with the channel's average of about 5.9%. Now, as a guy who has run multiple YouTube channels before, I think a respectable number, a click-through rate, is usually around like 1.5 to 3%. If you're hovering around like 2 to 2.5%, pretty successful. So to see a click-through rate above 5%, man, that is actually pretty good. Now, with a stock market investor type of mindset, of course I want to see a higher number, like 9% or even double digits at like 13% click-through rate. However, at about 5.9%, I'm pretty satisfied with the click-through rate. And the reason being is that I intentionally try not to make thumbnails that are too viral looking. You know, the ones with the flames going on everywhere or that specific type of font. I try not to do that, because it's going to bring people to the video to click on it that are used to that viral video editing. It's not good to have a viral type of thumbnail and then not to match the content to be viral as well. Viral meaning every 1 to 2 seconds there's like a fast cut or an edit that zooms in or zooms out. I don't want to do that. What I'm trying to say is that I like you guys. You are able to stay focused on a long form single video for about 10 to 20 minutes at a time. If I attract people whose attention spans are cooked because of TikTok, then they're going to click a video and then swipe away once they realize this channel's style is more like a classroom lecture at a community college or something, you know? And if that happens more often than not, then it sends a signal to YouTube that the video sucks, and then the channel is just gonna be hurt in its performance and in its numbers, and YouTube will ultimately stop pushing the content out to more people and to new people. All that to say, it's a balancing act when it comes to the click-through rate. I want people to click, of course, like new people to come to the channel, but I want to make sure that it's the right type of people. The ones that will have a higher probability of having that long-term investor or dividend investing type of mindset. I'm not into the day traders, the speculative traders, and the short-term. That's not the type of people that I want to attract to this community. Does that make sense? So who watches Dividend Compounders with Cheese? Now we're going to be talking about the target demographic and the audience. So out of everyone that watched a video on this YouTube channel this past year, about 75% were not subscribed. So there are people that decided to click, watch, they even comment or click a like, but they end up not subscribing and they don't come back. But out of 100 people, about 25% decided, I like this type of content, I'm going to click subscribe, and they have a higher statistic probability of coming back to consume more content. I feel like that was a pretty simple explanation, but if I lost you, think about it like this. Out of every 4 people who watch the videos on this channel, only 1 ends up subscribing. Are my feelings hurt? Is my voice too high for a 30-something-year-old male? To both of those questions, absolutely not. It's just the way it is. Which, by the way, it used to be my biggest insecurity. This voice that you hear right now, especially when I was an infantry officer and I had to lead grunts. Dude, this voice, man, I was so insecure. But one day I just decided to love who I am, how God created me, and I started to embrace the way I am. And on the flip side, once I found out that I can sing pretty well, having a high voice, I didn't know that it makes you a tenor. Having a high voice sucks for the most part, but it makes up for it during karaoke nights that happen like once or twice a year. Of course, as a guy that is running a YouTube channel with voiceovers, of course I want that deep, raspy, movie trailer narrator type of voice. But I gotta work with what I got, and it's this. And for anyone else out there that's pretty insecure about their high-pitched voice, I mean, think about Kevin Hart, Ryan Reynolds, David Beckham, me. There's a whole bunch of people who have a high voice and they seem to be doing okay in life. Don't let that be the reason to set you back or for you to feel weird in any sort of way. It's okay, it's normal. And moving on to the demographics, the age and gender. Now listen, about 13% of the people watching this video right now statistically are going to be aged 25 to 34. And then 25% are aged 35 to 44. And then about 28%, this is the highest category and group, are around 45 to 54. 21% are 55 to 64. And there's 10%, 1 out of 10 people who watch this content are above the age of 65. Now listen, I belong in this category right here. I'm in my mid-30s. So it was a little surprising to me to see the age trend towards the older side. And I think that's because with dividend investing and long-term investing, I think it comes with age, maturity, and wisdom. I think when you're younger, you shoot and you chase for that overnight, quick, rich type of money, right? Like cryptocurrency, speculative trading, day trading even. And I would even argue and make an educated guess that the viewers of that type of content probably skew towards this age category right here, 18 to 24. But I think one thing in life that's a guarantee is that once you get older and then you realize some losses, your risk profile becomes a little more conservative, and then you attain a desire to play it a little more safe, and then you skew towards the conservative way of investing with a long-term perspective. By the way, the average viewer's age for this channel is around 45 to about 48 years old. So I don't know how old you are, but is it interesting to see how it all plays out? And my thing is, when I look at this category right here, I want to see the reaction of the 73-year-old who watches this channel in bed on his TV through Bluetooth. I want to see his reaction and face when I make jokes about sweaty nipples. Because every so often, I'll get a comment from someone talking about how immature I am. And between you and me, I don't know. I don't let it faze me. I continue on with being who I am. My sense of humor, there's some people that will laugh at it, and some people who hear about, buttholes and nipples and their shriveled dick from a cold shower, and they'll be turned off or turned on. I don't know. I'll find my people, my tribe, and for every one person out of 100 that does not like it, I'm assuming there's 99 others that think it's funny. So the type of person that I am is I like to joke around while talking about a pretty straightforward topic. It's just the way that I've always been in boardrooms, in the battlefield. It's just who I am. I carry that sense of humor with me everywhere. Why would I be any different, right? But what about the gender? Well, about 3% of the viewers of this channel identify as a female. The other 97% are male. Does it surprise me? Not too much. But what does surprise me, I'm sad to say, I don't have any transgender viewers because the user specified is at 0%. Actually, I don't know. What is user specified? Because I'm guessing it's that category, that bubble that you fill in for other, when you're filling out paperwork when it says are you a man or a woman or other. That's what I'm assuming it is, and it's weird, but it's 0%. So at this point in the video, we can conclude and assume that the audience, the average audience member of this channel, most likely a male around the age of 47, and obviously with a few ladies sprinkled in there. And out of all the subscribers that we have, we're just shy of 5,000. I think we're sitting at like like 4,800. About 506 people have clicked on notifications for all notifications for the channel, and come to find out on YouTube, the typical number is around 10 to 30%. So I do skew towards the lower end, which is not a good thing, but I get it. I think when it comes to like finance, the stock market, and Wall Street, for a large majority of people, you've got to be in a specific type of mood to consume that type of content. Maybe it's whenever you're pooping on a Thursday while you're at work, so you can poop on the clock. Maybe you only do it once a week. For the other 90% of your time, maybe you like to watch content of girls dancing around, or if you're anything like me, you like to watch highlights of your favorite sports teams, which by the way, Tottenham Hotspur is playing today against Nottingham Forest, so we'll see how that goes. So I guess on YouTube, the average is around 20%. For us, it's around 10%, but I'm not too bothered because I know you have to be in a specific type of mood to watch this content, and there's other people that are like me who like to watch it all the time. So it depends. And then continuing on the theme of target demographics and the audience, who watches dividend compounders around the world? Well, about 62% of the views, 176,000 views came from the US. So the majority of the views on this channel are coming from people that reside in the United States. And then we have Canada at a hair shy of 5%, the UK, Germany, Netherlands, Australia, Singapore. I mean, this makes sense, right? I'm an English speaker, so I think people are going to seek out content where they can understand the person that is talking. So nothing here is too unusual, though I am sad not to see, a South American country or an African country or an Asian country. Oh wait, there's Singapore. And I give a specific shout out to Asia because I live in Japan. I'm an American, but I live here in Japan. So it is a little weird not to see more Asian countries represented in the top views, but it is what it is. And in the past 2 weeks or so, this channel has been surging in the statistics and numbers across the board. Views, number of subscribers, number of comments, engagement, and I think I'm starting to figure out what's going on. Because for the most part, we get around 800 views a day, every day. That's roughly the average. And if you look at this graph right here, sometimes it goes up, around 3,000 views a day. And sometimes, like this past fall, man, I was going through a rough time where no matter what I was doing, no matter how much I was uploading, I was only getting about 150 to 200 views a day. It was atrocious, and that was right here, from about September to the end of October. And I kept thinking, what is going on? Because in the first half of the year, the channel was getting around 1,500 to like 2,000 views a day. So for it to drop dramatically right here, and a sustained drop, it was really discouraging. However, as you can see, as highlighted by December 17th, with 7,800 views on that day, and December 19th, another 7,600 views. As Christmas was approaching, the views went up by 752%. So what that tells me is, I think I suck at making dividend content. But when it comes to trending or growth stocks, maybe I'm not so bad at it. Because when it comes to dividend content, I think a lot of people prefer that monotonous, dry, that just straight to the point type of style and content. They're not used to a guy that's cracking a joke, that's lighthearted, but is also pretty insightful. So as a guy who has a differentiator in having a sense of humor, I guess that kind of sets me apart from the pack. And I guess when I look at it on the bright side, the best part is, with this surge in numbers this past week and a half, when someone watches the recent videos and then they end up checking out the other older content that we already have up on the channel, they usually leave a comment such as, man, this is an underrated channel, or how does this video not have more views? Because for the most part, channels that were uploaded from right here, July all the way up to October, they usually get like, 300 to 600 views? And so as I have been reading those comments these past 10 days, it makes me feel sane, because sometimes I'll work really hard on a video only for it to get 300 views, and I'm just like, dude, I just spent 12 hours researching, 2 hours filming, 6 hours editing, 2 hours working on the analytics and thumbnail for it to get 300 views, man. So for random strangers out on the internet to tell me that this channel is underrated, or how does this video not have more views, it makes my balls drop a little lower and my voice to get a little deeper. I like it. Thank you. And because this is a recap video, let's take a look at what performed the best this past year. The video with the most views on this channel at 16,500 views is Why Should I Invest in Dividend Income Over Growth? And the click-through rate for that was 6.1%. It's pretty good. And then number 2 is a video that I just uploaded last week. I'm buying AMD stock when it reaches this price. It was essentially a stock analysis video, and that one got 14,500 views. The click-through rate was 6.7%, and then right below that is 100 shares of Realty Income Corporation, just to show you the compounding effect and how much dividends it pays throughout the years. And so by digesting the top content on this channel, it seems like SCHD, AMD, and Realty Income Corporation seems to do really well. Speaking of which, I have been buying up shares of Realty Income Corporation these past few weeks. Yes, the rate cut news, devastating and disappointing for rates across the board, but I think Realty Income Corporation super undervalued, and this is the opportunity to buy it up while it's cheap. So I should make a video talking about them because based on historical data, it's gonna do pretty well, or at least I hope it does. Imagine I upload it and it only gets 300 views. That's when I'm just gonna stub my toe on my couch, take off my shirt, and go running outside while it's snowing. But if I'm a betting man, which I'm not, if I upload that Realty Income video, it should do pretty well. So that was the data and numbers for this year, but what are the plans for next year? Well, the first goal that I want to bring back is 10,000 subscribers. I know we can do it. And when it happens, I'm going to be absolutely stoked because the other YouTube channels that I had growing up, like in middle school, high school, college, and right outside of college, every single time that I had a YouTube channel, it would blow up with minimal effort, largely in part because of my looks. And that's why I wanted to try this YouTube channel with the difficulty maxed out, the setting to be on challenger mode. You can't see my face. That way the growth only comes from the content, the personality, and genuine effort rather than looking like a model. And so to be grinding this hard and to gain and earn the numbers, it feels really good. Right now we're almost at 5,000, so I think reaching 10,000 is not out of the picture for 2025. And then goal number 2 is going to be increasing the daily views from 800 to around 3,000 to 4,000 views a day. And the cool thing about daily views is that it's not based on the most recent upload or recent video, because each video from the past gets a handful of views on the daily, which add up if you think about it. Right now, we have over 140 plus videos. If about 50 to 80 of those videos get about 10 to 20 views a day, then the most recent video does not have to do all the heavy lifting. So I think of it as dividends compounding, because a video that's uploaded 9 months ago is still going to pitch in and contribute 20 views a day. And then number 3, a more efficient workflow. Instead of working every single day, implement and actually carry out that rest day. This past year, I went at it like a madman. Like this YouTube channel, I treated it like my life depended on it. I worked through every weekend, holiday, and even on my birthday. I didn't take days off. Then in the past month or so, I ended up negotiating with myself to at least do 1 rest day per 14 working days. That way I'm not working every single day. And let me tell you, the creativity, the motivation, and the work rate all improved when I went back to work after a rest day. Unfortunately, I started doing that around early November. Had I had done that earlier, I feel like it would have been more beneficial. And then number 4 is to improve my sense of humor. And then number 5, to be my authentic self, which I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job with. And I guess the commentary that I want to add for point 4 and point 5 is that I struggled with depression for the longest time. I think for the past handful of years, it's been really difficult. But over the past year, I finally started to feel like myself again. This channel, I'm not gonna lie to you, has been a major part of that journey, along with picking up hobbies and moving on from the past. I think all of that contributed to the fact that I don't think I'm depressed anymore. But seriously, and after waking up from what feels like taking off, like a 500-pound weight that was attached to my ankle and just ripping it off and being able to walk freely again, I learned that the more you dwell on your past and think of the good times, the more depressed you're gonna be. And I think that was my biggest problem. I was just way too much in my head and just thinking about and reminding myself of the past. And so what worked for me was to go forward in full pursuit in new endeavors and to get passionate about new interests. By doing that, I didn't have time to ruminate or dwell on my past. I'm not saying this is going to work for anyone else out there, but I'm just sharing with you what worked for me. And then also like working out, eating right, and just being more positive with myself and to others. I think doing that consistently day in and day out, I think after like 9 or 10 months of consistent effort in trying to do things differently, that's when I finally realized one day, like, wow, I'm actually not depressed anymore. It didn't happen overnight, but gradually over time, I realized, yeah, that's the case now. All that to say, if you're going through a pretty dark or a rough time, it's not too late for you to be able to change, and you are much stronger than you think, because think about your worst days and your bad weeks. You've overcome all of them. You might feel weak or that you're at the end of the road, but you've got what it takes to keep going because you're strong. And I say all of that because even the smallest steps forward, not dwelling on the past, but steps forward, such as getting out of bed on time every day, working out, doing intentional breathing, and seeking help, like from a friend or a therapist or a chaplain or a pastor, dude, those are all the right and the correct moves and actions. Take it from me, as a guy who used to hate his life and thought there was no more point in living, that you have to keep fighting and living for another day because there's brighter days ahead of you. I'm telling you, you have not lived your best life yet. There's so many hobbies, movies, interests, and things that you haven't even discovered yet. And more importantly, just know that you're not alone. You're not going through this alone. If you need to talk to anyone, you can even talk to me. If you want to, just reach out to me. I'll talk to you. But circling it back to this video, all in all, after reflecting on it for a bit, this YouTube channel is the absolute hardest that I have ever worked towards a project or an endeavor in my life. The amount of effort that I am giving towards this YouTube channel reminds me that I am on the right path. And low-key, it makes my nipples hard, especially when I think about where we're gonna be next year. I mean, this year, full throttle, we were able to hit 4,800 subscribers, about 285,000 views. Like, that's pretty good. In a business sense, that's good. If I compare myself to other channels, obviously that's trash and those are low numbers. But for a guy to do that in one single year, I think that's awesome. Because if I remember to do it, I'm also going to make a 2-year recap video at the end of next year, and we'll see where we are. With that said, if you made it to the end of this video, just know that I appreciate you. Regardless if you think you're a bad person, thank you for choosing to be alive and doing the right thing every single day, no matter how hard it gets. And I appreciate you because I don't have too many friends in real life. However, I consider all of you to be my dividend gang. So it makes up for it in one way. With that, I'm out. Stay safe and talk to you next time. I gotta go watch my Tottenham Hotspurs get steamrolled on.